I told my mom, sister, and brother-in-law 3 separate times not to eat the brownies in the tin marked "Do Not Eat," medicinal. They ignored me, got extremely high at a kid's birthday, and now my entire family says I poisoned them and owe an apology for not locking up my legal medication. I stood in my kitchen at 11 p.m. last night listening to my aunt scream at me over the phone that I practically poisoned my mother, my sister, and my brother-in-law by leaving pot brownies on my counter, and when I calmly explained that I told everyone multiple times not to eat the brownies in the tin marked "Do Not Eat," medicinal, she said my warnings weren't clear enough and I should have locked them up or hidden them better. They weren't poisoned. They were high. Very high. Accidentally, admittedly. But also avoidably high if they'd listened to me literally saying don't eat those brownies 3 separate times. Now my family is split between people who think I'm blameless and people who think I'm a callous monster who should have done more to prevent 3/18s from eating clearly labeled edibles in my own home where I have every right to keep my legally obtained medical marijuana products. This isn't a story about whether pot is good or bad. This is about what happens when over 18s ignore explicit warnings, experience natural consequences, and then everyone decides those consequences are somehow your fault because you should have anticipated that grown people would do exactly what you told them not to do. My name is Jamie. I'm 28. I live alone in a small house in Colorado, where recreational and medical marijuana are legal. I have a medical card for chronic migraines and anxiety. I use edibles regularly, they work better for me than smoking and I can dose them precisely. I keep my edibles in a specific tin in my kitchen. The tin is clearly labeled. I'm not hiding them because I don't need to, I live alone, it's legal, and it's my house. My family knows I use marijuana medically. I've never hidden it. My mother was skeptical at first but came around when she saw how much it helped my migraines. My siblings are fine with it. My extended family has various opinions but it's never been a big issue. Last weekend was my nephew's birthday. My sister, Rachel, 32, her husband Mike, 34, and their kids, 7 and 9, live about 40 minutes away. My mom, 59, lives in the same town as them. They planned a birthday party at a local park but the weather turned terrible, pouring rain, unseasonably cold. Rachel called me Friday night. "Hey, can we move the party to your place? You have more space than my apartment and the kids really want to do it this weekend." "Sure, no problem. What time? Is noon okay? We'll bring food and cake. You don't have to do anything." Sounds good. I spent Saturday morning cleaning my house, moving furniture to make space for kids to run around, setting up my living room for the party. Around 11:30, Rachel showed up early with Mike and the kids to set up decorations. My mother arrived shortly after with presents. While they were setting up, I made a fresh batch of brownies. Regular brownies. No marijuana. Just chocolate brownies for the kids and party guests. But I also had a batch of pot brownies I'd made earlier in the week. They were in my labeled tin on the counter. I'd made them for myself. I usually eat about a quarter of one brownie in the evening to help with sleep and anxiety. When Rachel came into the kitchen to organize party food, she saw me putting the regular brownies on a plate. "Oh good, you made brownies." "Yep. These are regular. The ones in that tin are not." I pointed to the tin. "Those are my edibles. Don't eat those." "Got it. Thanks for making regular ones for the party." "No problem." Clear communication. Direct instruction. She acknowledged understanding. My mother came in a few minutes later to help set up food. "Saw the brownies." "Oh, did you make these?" "The ones on the plate, yes. The ones in the tin are my edibles. Don't eat those. These are for the party." "I know, honey. I won't touch your medicine." Again, clear warning. Acknowledgement. Mike came through the kitchen to grab plates. "Saw the brownies." "Man, those look good." "The ones on the plate are for eating. The ones in that tin are pot brownies. Don't eat those." Noted. Don't need to be high at a kid's birthday party. 3 warnings. 3 separate people. 3 acknowledgements. The party was fine. Kids had fun. Ate cake and brownies from the plate. Played games. Normal birthday party stuff. Around 3 p.m., people started leaving. By 3:30, it was just Rachel, Mike, the kids, and my mom still at my place, cleaning up. "Why don't you guys stay for dinner?" I suggested. "I'll order pizza. The kids can watch a movie." Rachel checked with Mike. "Sure, that'd be nice. We don't have plans." I ordered pizza. Put a movie on for the kids in the living room. The over 18s hung out in the kitchen talking. I went to my bedroom to take a work call. I'd been waiting for a call back from a client about a project. Told them I'd be about 20 minutes. When I came back to the kitchen about 25 minutes later, Rachel, Mike, and my mom were giggling. Like, really giggling. Over nothing. What's so funny? I asked. Rachel looked at me with red eyes and started laughing harder. I don't know. Everything's just really funny right now. A cold feeling hit my stomach. Did you guys eat something? More giggling. I looked at the counter. The tin, my clearly labeled tin, was open. Empty. Did you eat the brownies from the tin? They were so good, my mother said, laughing. So fudgy. Mom. Those were pot brownies. I told you not to eat them. Oh. She looked confused. I forgot. I specifically told all three of you not to eat the brownies in the tin. Rachel waved her hand dismissively. You put them right there on the counter. If you didn't want people to eat them, you should have put them away. They were in a labeled tin. That I told you not to eat from. Multiple times. Mike was staring at his hands like they were fascinating. Whoa. Everything looks weird. How many did you eat? I had one, Rachel said. Mom had 1.5. Mike had 2. 2? Mike ate 2 whole brownies? They were small. They weren't small. They were regular-sized brownies. Each one was approximately 50 milligrams of THC. Mike had just consumed roughly 100 milligrams. My mother about 75 milligrams. Rachel about 50 milligrams. For reference, Colorado recommends 10 milligrams as a standard dose for recreational users. These people had just consumed 5 to 10 times the recommended dose. And none of them were regular users. Oh my god. Okay. You guys are going to be really high for the next few hours. Probably pretty uncomfortable. I feel fine, Rachel said, then immediately looked worried. Actually, I feel weird. Why do I feel weird? Because you're high. Very high. On marijuana you were explicitly told not to consume. You should have put them away. Rachel's tone shifted from giggly to accusatory. They were in a labeled container in my house. You're over 18s. I told you not to eat them. But you left them right there on the counter. In my kitchen. In my house. Where I'm allowed to leave my legal medication. You chose to eat them after I told you not to. My mother started looking panicky. Am I going to be okay? I don't like this feeling. You're going to be fine. You're just high. It'll wear off in a few hours. Drink water. Try to relax. A few hours? I can't be like this for hours. I'm supposed to drive home. Well, you're definitely not driving. You'll have to stay here until it wears off. Rachel pulled out her phone, started texting. I'm telling Dad what happened. Tell him the whole story. Including the part where I told you 3 times not to eat those brownies. Mike was now lying on my kitchen floor. The floor is really comfortable. Has it always been this comfortable? Mike, get up. Go sit on the couch. I can't. I'm part of the floor now. Rachel helped Mike to the couch. My mother sat in a chair looking anxious. The kids were oblivious, watching their movie. My phone started ringing. My father. What the hell happened? Rachel, Mike, and Mom ate my edibles after I explicitly told them not to. Rachel says you left them out where anyone could eat them. I left them in a labeled tin in my own kitchen and told everyone multiple times not to eat them. They ate them anyway. You know your mother doesn't do illegal substances. You should have been more careful. She's 59 years old. I told her not to eat them. She ate them anyway. That's on her, not me. You're being very callous about this. I'm being realistic. I warned them. They ignored the warning. Now they're experiencing the consequences. Your mother is terrified. She's high. She'll be fine in a few hours. Tell her to drink water and watch TV. This is your fault. No, this is their fault for eating something they were told not to eat. He hung up on me. Over the next hour, things got worse before they got better. Mike became paranoid that the kids could tell he was high. They know. They definitely know. I can't look at them. The kids are 7 and 9 and completely absorbed in a movie. They don't know. Rachel became emotional. I'm a terrible mother. I ate illegal substances at my son's birthday party. You ate illegal substances after the party. And they're not illegal substances in the way you're making it sound. It's marijuana. You're going to be fine. My mother kept asking if she needed to go to the hospital. No. You're not in danger. You're just uncomfortable because you're not used to being high. What if something goes wrong? Nothing's going to go wrong. You just need to wait it out. I made them food, apparently eating helps. Got them water. Put on a calm TV show. Tried to keep them from spiraling into anxiety. Meanwhile, my phone was exploding. My aunt, my mom's sister, your mother could have had a heart dispute. How could you leave illegal substances lying around? My dad, your mother is scared and confused and it's your fault. Rachel's text, I can't believe you let this happen. You should have warned us better. I responded to Rachel, I warned you 3 separate times. You chose to ignore me. You should have physically stopped us. You're over 18s. I can't follow you around preventing you from making bad choices. You know mom's memory isn't great. You should have accounted for that. She's 59, not 90. Her memory is fine. She just didn't listen. Around 8 p.m., they started coming down. Still high but less panicked. More tired than anything. Mike fell asleep on my couch. Rachel was quiet, staring at the TV. My mother was calmer but still unhappy. I don't understand why you keep those things in your house, she said. Because they're my medication. Because they're legal. Because I'm an over 18 in my own home. But what if the kids had eaten them? The kids were never unsupervised in my kitchen. And I told every over 18 present not to eat them. The kids were never at risk. Still seems dangerous. What's dangerous is over 18s eating things they're explicitly told not to eat. By 10 p.m., they were mostly sober. Tired, embarrassed, and cranky, but sober. Rachel packed up her kids. We're leaving. Are you okay to drive? I'm fine now. Be safe. This never would have happened if you'd been more responsible. This never would have happened if you'd listened to me. She left without saying goodbye. My mother stayed until she felt completely sober, around 11 p.m. My dad picked her up. When he arrived, he looked at me like I'd committed a crime. Your mother is very upset. I'm sorry she's upset. But I warned her not to eat those brownies. She ate them anyway. You should have put them away. They were in a labeled container in my kitchen. I don't need to hide my medication in my own home. Clearly you do if this is what happens. What happened is 3 over 18s ignored explicit instructions and experienced consequences. I'm not responsible for that. Your family. You should have protected them. From themselves? They're grown over 18s. At some point, personal responsibility has to matter. They left. And the phone calls started. My aunt called at 11:15 p.m., furious. Your mother called me crying. Do you know what you've put her through? I didn't put her through anything. She ate brownies I told her not to eat. You left marijuana out where she could access it. In my house. In a labeled container. After warning her not to eat them. She's not used to that stuff. She didn't know what would happen. Which is exactly why I told her not to eat them. You should have been more emphatic. I directly said don't eat those brownies, they're pot brownies. How much more emphatic should I have been? You should have locked them up. In my own house. Where I'm the only resident. Why would I lock up my legal medication? To prevent things like this from happening. Things like over 18s ignoring direct instructions and then blaming me for the consequences? You're being very defensive. I'm being accurate. I warned them. They didn't listen. That's not my fault. She told me I was cold and uncaring and hung up. My cousin texted, heard about what happened. That's rough. But also, they were literally told not to eat them? Like multiple times? Finally, someone reasonable. Yes. 3 times. 3 different people. All acknowledged understanding. Then I don't see how this is your fault. They're over 18s. Thank you. I'm apparently the only person who thinks over 18s should be responsible for their own choices. You're not. But you're going to be the scapegoat because it's easier to blame you than admit they messed up. My brother called the next morning. He'd heard the whole story from multiple people. So let me get this straight. You told them not to eat the brownies. They ate them anyway. And now everyone's mad at you? Basically. That's insane. Thank you, but also, dude, you know how mom is. She gets distracted. She forgets things. You probably should have anticipated she might forget. She's not senile. She's 59 and fully competent. I can't be responsible for anticipating that she'll ignore direct warnings. I'm just saying, you know her. You could have been more proactive. By doing what? Following her around? Physically preventing her from eating them? She's an over 18. I treated her like one. And look how that turned out. Yeah. She got high because she made a choice. That's how consequences work. You're not going to win this fight. Everyone's decided you're the bad guy. Then everyone's wrong. The family group chat was a disaster. I'd been added to it years ago but rarely checked it. That was a mistake. Aunt Linda, I still can't believe Jamie left illegal substances out where people could eat them. Cousin Beth, at a kid's birthday party. Me, the illegal substances were in a labeled container. The party was over when this happened. And I told everyone not to eat them. Aunt Linda, you should have been more careful. Me, I was careful. I warned everyone. Multiple times. Rachel, you left them on the counter like regular food. Me, a tin. That was labeled. That I told you about. Rachel, if you didn't want people to eat them, you should have put them away. Me, I don't need to hide my medication in my own home. You need to listen when people tell you not to eat things. My dad, this conversation isn't productive. Jamie, you owe your mother an apology. Me, for what? For having legal medication in my house? For warning her not to eat it? For her ignoring that warning? My dad, for being disrespectful right now. Me, I'm being honest. If honesty is disrespectful, that's a separate issue. I muted the chat. My mother called that afternoon. I think we need to talk. Okay. I'm very upset by how you've handled this. How I've handled it. Mom, you ate my edibles after I told you not to. I forgot. You forgot in the 20 minutes between me telling you and you eating them? I was distracted by the party. By the kids. By everything going on. Okay. That's understandable. But that's still your responsibility. I gave you clear information. What you did with it is on you. I was in your home. As your guest. You should have made sure I was safe. You were safe. You were in my kitchen eating brownies. The fact that they were edibles doesn't mean you were unsafe, it means you didn't listen. I'm your mother. You should be more patient with me. I am patient with you. But patience doesn't mean taking responsibility for your choices. So you're saying this is my fault? I'm saying you made a choice to eat something you were told not to eat. Yes, that's your fault. I can't believe you're talking to me this way. How should I be talking to you? Should I lie and say it's my fault? Should I apologize for something I didn't do? You should be compassionate about the fact that I had a scary experience. I am sorry you had a scary experience. But I'm not sorry for having edibles in my house or for warning you not to eat them. Those are separate things. I don't think I can talk to you right now. She hung up. Rachel called an hour later. You need to apologize to Mom. For what? For what happened. For how scared she was. For being dismissive about her feelings. I'm not dismissive about her feelings. I understand she was scared. But her being scared doesn't make it my fault. You could have prevented this. So could she? By listening to me. You're being really cold about this. I'm being factual. 3 over 18s were warned not to eat specific brownies. All 3 ate them anyway. That's not on me. You know Mom has a bad memory. Her memory is fine. She remembered everything else from that day. She just didn't prioritize remembering my warning. Because you should have made it clearer. I said don't eat the brownies in this tin, they're pot brownies. How much clearer can I be? You could have moved them. Hidden them. Put them somewhere we wouldn't see them. Why should I have to hide my medication in my own home because grown over 18s might not listen to warnings? Because that's what responsible people do. Responsible people listen when they're told not to eat something. Oh my God. Fine. Be stubborn. But don't expect Mom to forgive you anytime soon. I'm not asking for forgiveness because I didn't do anything wrong. She hung up. My best friend, Casey, called that evening after I'd filled her in via text. Okay, so just to be absolutely clear, you told them not to eat the brownies. They ate the brownies. And now they're mad at you? Yes. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Right? Like, I'm trying to find an angle where this is your fault and I can't. Everyone else seems to have found one. Everyone else is wrong. Look, I get that your mom was scared. That sucks. But being scared doesn't retroactively make you not responsible for eating something you were told not to eat. That's what I keep saying. They want you to take the blame because it's easier than admitting they messed up. Especially your mom. She's probably embarrassed. So I should lie to make her feel better? I'm not saying you should. I'm saying that's what they want. And you're going to be the bad guy for not giving it to them. I can live with that. Can you? Because it sounds like your whole family is turning on you. Then my whole family is wrong. I talked to my therapist about it in my session this week. How are you feeling about the situation? She asked. Frustrated. Angry. But also pretty confident I'm right. Walk me through your reasoning. I gave clear warnings. Multiple times. To multiple people. They ignored those warnings. They experience consequences. Those consequences are not my responsibility. Do you think there's anything you could have done differently? I could have hidden the brownies. Locked them up. Removed them from my kitchen entirely. But I don't think I should have had to do any of those things in my own home when I'd already given clear warnings. Why not? Because that's treating over 18s like children. I gave them information. They're responsible for what they do with it. Some people would argue that when it comes to substances, extra precautions are warranted. If I were having a party where people were drinking, I wouldn't hide all my beverage just in case someone drank too much. I'd expect over 18s to moderate themselves. This feels the same to me. Does it feel the same to your family? No. They think marijuana is different. More dangerous. More my responsibility to control. Is that a generational thing? Probably. My mom grew up being told marijuana was dangerous and illegal. Even though it's legal now and I use it medicinally, she still has those old associations. Do you think that context matters? I think it explains her reaction. But I don't think it makes me responsible for her choices. What do you want from this situation? I want people to acknowledge that I warned them and they didn't listen. I don't need an apology. I just need them to stop acting like I did something wrong. Do you think you'll get that? No. I think they're too invested in making me the villain to admit they messed up. How does that feel? Lonely. Frustrating. But also, I don't know. I'm not backing down. I didn't do anything wrong. What if backing down would repair the relationships? Then the relationships are conditional on me accepting blame for things that aren't my fault. And I'm not sure those are relationships I want. I refused to take any blame when my mom, sister, and brother-in-law got high off my brownies, and what I learned is that some people would rather blame you for not preventing their bad choices than admit they made bad choices, that family pressure to keep the peace often means accepting responsibility for things that aren't your fault, and that sometimes being right means being alone because people don't want truth, they want comfort, even if that comfort comes from making you the villain. It's been a week. My mother still isn't speaking to me. Rachel sends occasional icy texts about logistics but nothing personal. My dad thinks I'm being stubborn and cruel. My aunt told me I should be the bigger person and apologize even if I don't think I'm wrong. Why? I asked her. Because she's your mother. Because family is more important than being right. So I should lie? You should prioritize peace. Peace built on me accepting false blame? That's not peace. That's suppression. Some extended family members have reached out privately to say they think the whole thing is ridiculous and I'm clearly not at fault. But none of them will say it publicly because they don't want to get involved in family drama. So I'm the villain. The cold, uncaring daughter who poisoned her mother and won't even apologize. I'm okay with that. Because I know the truth. I warned them. Multiple times. They ignored me. They made a choice. And I refuse to take responsibility for other people's choices just to make them feel better about making bad ones. Maybe that makes me cold. Maybe that makes me uncompromising. Maybe that makes me a bad daughter or sister. But it also makes me honest. And right now, that matters more to me than being liked. I'll rebuild these relationships eventually. Or I won't. But I won't rebuild them by accepting blame I don't deserve. Because once you start doing that, you never stop. And I'm done protecting people from the consequences of not listening. They're over 18s. They made a choice. They can own it. And I can live with being the villain for refusing to own it for them.